Hi there guys, Outlaw Dolphin here, and I am bringing Dragon Age Inquisition to the channel. Bit of a step back into the year of 2014 when BioWare was good, and just getting through finishing Mass Effect and bit of a time from its Dragon Age Origins and Dragon Age 2. Now, having played my Battlefront 2 playthrough, I am also in the news in the updates that come out of EA about many things that they are currently doing very wrong. And the one thing that I'm worried about, there is one company underneath their wing that I am worried about, following another game which I will get to in just 1 second. BioWare is to me, it's in a sticky situation. It's probably not, but to me, I'm worried about it. I'm worried about its games that it brings out. I'm worried about its franchises for sure, considering how, you know, you got EA CEOs saying that they want to take a different direction from single player RPGs, from linear games. Now, BioWare don't do linear games. They're not as linear as they're more linear than other studios. You can say Bethesda into that sentence. But BioWare do story-driven games, and they have done since they brought out, for a long time, but since they brought out Dragon Age Origins, they've changed the game. They set the new bar for RPG games. Now, I love Bethesda games too, but if you give me those two studios and you ask me to follow one for the rest of my life, I would pick BioWare hands down, because they bring amazing characters to life. Bethesda is kind of 50-50, it depends. There's no one from Bethesda games that really stick out to me. But BioWare games are a little bit different. I played Mass Effect through 1 to 3. I fell in love with that franchise. You think of characters like Tali and Legion, and you're just like, that you get to actual heartbreaking scenes with those characters. And that doesn't happen for me at Bethesda. There's nothing heartbreaking that goes on in these games. You're just the hero, you turn up, and done is done. I'm worried about BioWare through the fact that this game here, Dragon Age Inquisition, is a game that I have loved, despite its shortcomings, which we will talk through as I play this game. This is by no means a blind playthrough. I've put 700 hours into this game, PC and PS4 alike. And I'm not blind to its problems. It has problems. It does. And they showed up in Andromeda. The same problems. But these problems came from one problem. From a singular cause. And that's their producers. The people that, you know, is from EA. Ever since the introduction of things like fiscal financial years, and the adding up and totalizations at the end of financial calendars, games like BioWare and other AAA title providers aren't safe from their producers, from the companies that own them. When they need something, they will push and push and push, and to the point when they're releasing something that they don't want to release. It's not their finished title. I imagine BioWare are they're hiding under a rock right now. I've not seen anything to do with Dragon Age 4, considering that Dragon Age Inquisition itself now is approaching 4 years of age. There wasn't even that much time between Origins and Dragon Age 2. I believe that was a gap of 2 years. Whereas Dragon Age Inquisition from that point has had a long time to build, and then probably was rushed about a year ahead of its actual, what should have been its release. Dragon Age Inquisition should have been a 2015 game, not a 2014 game. I think, and I believe, this is a bit of a ramble, I'll admit, AAA titles need to take a step back. And I think companies such as BioWare need to resist and just say no to being rushed, to being put under pressure, and defend themselves just a little bit more. Maybe they do, in the conversations that we don't see between executives and presidents and CEOs, stuff that we're never ever going to know. So that's just my take on everything that's been going on. EA is in, I'm not going to say it's in trouble, because let's face it, does EA think it's in trouble? It probably doesn't. Everything that came from EA with the loot boxes, it happened at the beginning of the year with Ubisoft. With For Honor, it was the same exact thing. Years of grinding that could be cut short with just spending extra money on a AAA title, mind you, and For Honor was not cheap. It was a very expensive game, and it offered so little. It offered a poor campaign, such did Battlefront 2, and so much into online, and it's just saying, oh yeah, slow grind, but look at this, look at everything you can get in these crates, loot crates, blah blah blah. And I fell out of love with For Honor because I'm a big fantasy fan. I'm a huge fantasy fan, and I've been spoiled the last decade. But now I'm worried coming to the end of probably what has been a small golden age for RPG games. Let's face it, Bethesda aren't in any trouble. They govern themselves. They make their own. BioWare doesn't do that. BioWare is governed by EA. So I'm scared for it. I'm worried about it. I'm worried about Dragon Age 4 because I don't think it's going to be the game that it could have been if BioWare just do it themselves. EA are going to it's just the idea when Blake Jorgensen, the EA CEO something, said that RPG games, linear games, they don't, in so many words, bother with them because they shut down Criterion, I believe. They shut down a specific studio that was working on a specific Star Wars story game because it was linear. There is nothing wrong with a linear game. Linear games are not the problem. You can have a straight line in games. I mean, multiple choices have become the norm in games, but if it's linear, it doesn't mind. One, it's Star Wars. That's always going to make you the money. Just because of the name. It always has in every single game, in every single release. It's been popularized. It has its fans. The problem is if that story wasn't good enough. Now, judging by the fact that that story was being headed by Hennig, who made Uncharted, if EA came out and said that that story wasn't good enough, I don't believe them. I don't believe them. I've played Uncharted. Uncharted is amazing. Even if that was Star Wars but in Uncharted, that's an amazing game, because you know the caliber of work that Hennig can do. So it's a shame that we'll probably never ever see the result of that game. But the idea that players, us, consumers, don't want linear games, multi-RPG games, I think EA need to take a good look at themselves and I think BioWare needs to take a good look at themselves. Do they feel that their games, do they feel that the direction that they want to go in is a safe route to go down with EA? I don't think it is. EA have got a lot. They won't consider themselves in trouble. I don't think that they think they're in trouble. We think they should be in trouble. And I'm sure that this new year will see many things come to change in the gaming world, particularly surrounding loot boxes and other business ideas that are suspicious, like AAA games having like release day DLC and stuff like this. It's all going to change. So I'm going to go through the latest BioWare releases in Dragon Age Inquisition and Mass Effect Andromeda, and the Mass Effect Andromeda game will be a blind. I've not played that video game at all. Just Mass Effects 1 through 3. I know its history. I know its legacy. So that's going to be my January onwards for the videos that I do and for the stuff that I would like to talk about during these games. They will possibly be 80% content covered. Dragon Age Inquisition, I will definitely do all 3 DLCs. Mass Effect, we will see. I mean, I only know what stuff I've seen in the news. I'm going to judge Andromeda off 1, 2 and 3. Off its history, off its legacy, what it was built upon. I'm not going to let anything external or internal, well, I'm not going to let anything external, any other people's opinions, ruin my opinion of Mass Effect Andromeda. Like I said, I love this game, Inquisition, but I'm not blind to problems that arise from it. So I'm pretty sure there were problems in Inquisition that arose in Andromeda, and I think because of my knowledge of Inquisition and its gameplay issues, I'm probably very well equipped to spot if the problems in Inquisition have transcended into Andromeda. So that's my plan, that's what I'm going to do, and I want to talk about the goods that BioWare have brought, I want to talk about the bads that BioWare have brought, and discuss if those things are EA related, if they're rushed by their producers, if they're rushed by the people who own them. And I think that they are. I believe that they are. BioWare are a beloved company of mine, and I would hope that they could learn in this year, because I'm unsure if they have anything. Oh yeah, they have Anthem, which is also an EA driven game, and I know a lot of people worried about that. I've not seen a lot on that game, I just know that people are worried about it. But hey ho, off we go.